John and Darren's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, March 8th, 2017 edition. I'm John Sable, and joining me, Billy Strange. How you doing, Billy?
Yay! I'm here.
Well, that's we're working on participation points today.
That's right.
So hope you guys are all doing well. Let us know if sound sucks. 2 weeks ago, the sound levels were terrible. I apologize for that. And not only does it make for not a very good show, it also makes for a lot of work when I go and do the audio podcast. So I don't want that work.
Yeah. No. That's not fun.
Nope. So, apparently iRacing isn't working very well right now, so that means more viewers.
Cross your fingers, right?
Yes, exactly. So, something else that's not working very well is my whatchamacallit chat right now. So let me go and fix that for you guys. Oh man, look at that. Everything just went gray.
Sweet.
Yep. On the fly. Yeah, this has been a long day for me, Billy. We released an iRacing Part 2 build earlier. It didn't go as ideally as I would have liked it to. People not liking the bouncing. So,
how dare you?
I know. I didn't realize it yesterday until like it was already pretty late in the production of it. And I'd already reshot it once. So, it was kind of like, well, I guess this is what it's going to be. Hope you guys like a really cool, like a true point of view of a driver who's bouncing over stuff.
Bouncing around, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was cool from that perspective. It did get a little bit more bouncy than I care for in other things. So let's see. John is okay. Billy is out of sync. Well, yeah. For some reason, the internet connection today is like fighting us.
Yeah. I was going to say, I just checked mine. Mine's okay, so it's
my fault.
The distance between us. I don't know.
It is ridiculously windy here today, so if there's going to be issues, it's going to be that. So,
the wind blowing somehow takes the internet out of...
Hey, this neighborhood, when like get any kind of weather, things just kind of go south. So you guys in chat are already talking about the giveaway. Yes, we are announcing a winner to the Thrustmaster TSPC Racer and T3PA pedals. That has already been selected. Darren did the whole random selector before the show and gave me a name. And I think I've done a good job not putting the name anywhere where you guys can see it. And then, as always, we've got news items. Actually got a whole bunch of news items. Been a lot of news here recently. And some happenings, and then Q&A. So, with that said, Billy, you want to kick us off on our first topic of the day?
Yep, and if I continue to bother you being out of sync, just don't look at my face, which is normal. Yes. Dirt 4 has different editions, so you got a Day 1 edition that will feature the Hyundai Hyundai, however you say it, R5 rally car.
I say Hyundai.
Which will also... we tend to say, in America, Hyundai, but I've heard other places around the globe pronounce it Hyundai. So...
Okay.
Let's see, the R5 rally car, which you will also receive if you pre-order the game alongside a unique event, livery, and founder icon. So make sure you give them money before you get the actual physical or digital thing in your quote-unquote hands. Special edition, which includes everything you get with the Day 1 edition, and an additional team booster pack provides you with a unique team offer, staff, and facility bonuses in career mode, which is just a way of saying we want you to feel like you're getting something. And Steelbook. Select retailers will have a limited Steelbook edition, which gives you all Day 1 special edition content and presents the game in this fancy-looking Steelbook there.
It does look fancy.
Let's see. Actually, I want one. I would like to have.
Last week we did a video for a giveaway with WRC6, and they sent me the physical copy, and it's kind of nice having a physical copy. Like, I don't remember the last game where I've had to, had a disc.
Yeah. Yeah, the last one I got was Dirt Rally last year when they sent a PS4 copy.
Nice.
I think that's the last one I've gotten.
Yeah, few and far between these days.
Yeah. And then what else do we got?
We done with that topic?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where
Different editions of the game.
yeah, and trying to get you to just give them money before the special edition deal. I get with the Steelbook. I mean, but everything else is kind of like, yeah, okay.
I do think it is. I like how you can get the Hyundai though, however you pronounce it, because is that last year's WRC car. That's what I was think. That's what I was thinking, but I'm not the best at. I guess knowing all the different names of different rally cars for WRC, but
right. And then part of their roadbook series, Landrush, and they just go on to explain that they're gonna, if you had played any of the Dirt series before, like Dirt 2 or 3, they had the Landrush in there prior, so nothing, as far as I know, has changed. They've got the buggy, which is kind of like the lower tier, then the Pro 2 and the Pro 4, and the Pro 4 has like 900 horsepower all-wheel drive. Let's see, they also say that the Speed Car Extreme, it says Extreme, will not only be available in Rallycross, but also Landrush. And then they just go on to talk about that they have, just because it's Landrush doesn't mean it's an arcade physics model, but you can turn it to the more gamer handling. That's what it's called. And then 3 tracks, Baja, California, and Nevada. What else do we got here? That's pretty much it. I don't really see anything else or remember anything else.
No, I think that was all of it. Was that it's going to be 3 different buggies with different horsepower, and then a few of the tracks are going to have. Oh, and then they talk about multiplayer. They're going to be the 8 abreast Landrush start, which should be good. Hopefully, or a big wreckfest. Meanwhile,
Wow.
as we get connection issues on our call.
Yes.
as Wim pointed out earlier, it's like we're like overdubbing this currently.
It's like a spaghetti western.
It didn't look too bad there though. It's like getting worse and getting better. So again, don't worry, we'll just throw up all this other videos and pictures and just listen. And talk to each other in
That's
chat.
right. Yeah, just minimize the window and just leave chat open.
Yes.
Nobody wants to see this anyway.
Like I talked about earlier, that's the best way to watch that iRacing video, apparently, or you'll get sick. Okay, so let's move off Dirt 4. And let's...
Yeah, what happened with Milestone? What do we got going on with Milestone?
Milestone's got some interesting things going on. First off, they have a new title called Gravel, which this is looking like... I don't know how to explain this. This is looking kind of like an arcadey off-road racer. Couple different points of interest here. It's using Unreal Engine 4, which is something that Milestone is going over to. So it should look pretty. And even though, I don't know, they're kind of going for almost like a cartoony look right here. So it's not like what we were seeing out of GTR 3. We're going for more of that photorealistic. This is kind of a little more arcadey looking. And that's the trailer. Not a whole lot to it. So the cars, details are not yet available, but we know that the cars will range from trophy trucks to rally legends. Game modes, there'll be 4 different game modes as part of the Off-Road Master Series hosted by the Gravel channel. Wild Rush is classic off-roading arcade game mode, cross-country, wide open maps, checkpoints, giving you a rough direction where to go and explore freely. Speed Cross, another racing mode, where it will take place on real tracks, meaning no checkpoint racing, and we assume not real-world tracks, because it's like more of a, I don't know, arcade game. and then something else. But it'll be available this summer on the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. So this was like the secretive IP that was teased a couple of weeks ago, and from Milestone, and turns out to be definitely more on the arcadey side.
Yeah, as people have been pointing out, it's like Sega Rally Revo and Forza Horizon got together. So I don't think this was what everybody was expecting, but okay.
Yeah, no, this wasn't what I was expecting. So, oh well, I guess
or at least hoping for.
Yeah, I guess we'll see if we check it out at some point and see. I don't know, maybe it's fun. I mean, that's clearly what it's going for. This is going to be a just kind of go and have fun type title, arcade.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
And then next up from Milestone Land, I got some new MXGP3 news. What do we know from them, Billy?
That they will now MXGP3 will include I'm going to start over. Okay, hit the reset button. MXGP3 will include 2-stroke dirt bikes. That's what I was trying to spit out. And then they have models include KTM, Kawasaki, Husqvarna, Honda, Yamaha, and will be part of the base content upon initial release of MXGP3. And then it gives a release date of May 12th for pretty much everybody except the United States, which have to wait until the end of the month, May 30th.
That's so annoying. I mean, at least it's in the same month.
It's much better than it was, because didn't Ride 2 just came out not too long ago for the U.S., didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Ride 2 just came out here, last month, I think, in the U.S. So, yeah, kind of goofy there. But so did you see that video of MXGP3, that trailer?
Yes.
So what do you think about the look of the Unreal Engine 4?
It looks pretty. I mean, it definitely is a step up from what they had. I mean, I do like nice looking graphics, but I'm not a huge stickler on it. I'm more concerned about how it plays. Yeah. So
overall, didn't you have? I mean, what was your thoughts on MXGP2?
It was okay. I think people were expecting a bigger jump from 1 to 2, and I had played 1 as well. And when you have these iterative deals that focus on one series, I think it's pretty hard to make huge steps in between titles. So I didn't think it was bad. I noticed some people didn't. They felt like the track deformation wasn't as good in 2 as it was in the first one, and then just some of the other stuff. I don't like the shaky rider camera. Your eyes don't do that while you're riding, but some people really like that, and I don't believe that was really in there, which for some people wasn't great. So MXGP2 was okay.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll blow your doors off.
Yeah. What's interesting? Oh, and by the way, guys, we haven't announced the winner of the wheel and pedal set yet. We'll do that after the news. Check out the description of the video. What was I gonna say? I'm kind of surprised how quickly they've been coming out with the MXGP games. Because it's not like a Madden or what EA Sports used to have, like the NASCAR franchise, where you kind of had to have a yearly iteration. They're just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I assume, and it doesn't seem like they're following a calendar year. And 2 came out a year ago. This time last year, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, April or so. It could have been March, April or so. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, and I always feel like from those games that do come out every single year and have to be on a calendar, it's hard. It seems like a year is a hard time to really, do development, and it really smashes that window down. Where if you go on a little more like a 2-year development cycle, I think to a Forza franchise with what they do with Motorsports and Horizon, it seems like 2 years gives you enough time where you can then really go and spend the amount of time you like to spend. So it's kind of surprising that they are going and trying to do it on a compressed 1-year schedule.
Yeah, give yourself 18 months and then start doing your quality assurance testing after that. So, but they're paying for a license. I imagine it's more expensive to just sit on it than put out a new iteration with only a few changes. So, but this release looks to be more substantial. So, that's a plus.
Yep. Fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll be checking that out in May. And I assume even though it's delayed, it's not coming out till the 30th in the U.S., that it'll still be out on Steam on, what was it, the 12th?
Usually, yeah.
So,
yep, it usually is. It's just, the delay is usually restricted to consoles.
Yep. So, and when it comes out, I'll let Billy check it out, because I don't know how to drive anything on a controller.
Oh, come on.
I haven't checked out any of the motorcycle games. I'm like, motorcycle? 4 wheels. Okay, next up, there was some pretty significant hardware news last week. Fanatec announced the Clubsport wheelbase V2.5. So this has been stated as a fairly minor update to the version 2 of the Clubsport wheelbase. Of course, a wheelbase that we think a lot of. I did the shootout with it and the Thrustmaster TSPC Racer, and then the CSL Elite, and I found this to be the best of the bunch. And right after that, that week, the price of V2s had dropped $100 here in the US from $600 to $500. And when I saw that, I was talking to Darren, I was kind of like, what's going on here? Well, now we got a little bit of an answer. A few weeks later, here's the 2.5 version. That is said to have, and I haven't looked any further on this. And I feel like there were some things I was hearing, like maybe more information came out. And I contacted Fanatec, and they're supposed to shoot me an email on Monday explaining a little more differences. I didn't get it, so I gotta circle back to them. But they said that the Clubsport wheelbase V2.5 is a careful and precise evolution of the highly successful V2. It comes with more advanced electronics and new motor for improved feeling, functionality, and even higher durability. So, yeah, that doesn't say a whole lot there. Physically, the only thing that looks different is the front. Now you have the Fanatec logo there and some kind of machined doodad around it, which, I don't know. I guess depends. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'm kind of indifferent to it. And
Perfect.
And then the other notable thing is the price now is 550 euros. It's stated at lower price, so 550 euros, $500 here in the U.S., 829 Australian dollars, and 64,900 Japanese. Is it? It's not Japanese yen, is it? It's JPY. I thought yen was Chinese. Anyway.
You were asking the wrong person on that one.
Yes. So yeah, that is interesting, and I've seen a lot of people were making comments wondering, somebody commented before the show. It's like, oh, it's not direct drive, and it's like, no, this isn't their direct drive wheel. This is just an evolution of what they're currently doing with the V2. So, if you had a V2 pre-ordered, which when they reduced in price, they pretty much went out of stock right away, your pre-order will be automatically upgraded to a version 2.5 wheel. So, not too shabby.
Like a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see them actually drop the price down to $500 and stay there. I think that's a pretty reasonable price.
I would agree.
So, with that, let's talk the thing that I don't have highlighted on the notes here. A new dirt track coming to iRacing. Take it away, Billy.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's Volusia that you're taking a look at here. And Volusia is a half mile. It's kind of an interesting track. It has what I will say is a flat front straightaway. And then the back straightaway is actually a nice long curve. So it's like a D-shaped oval, but inverse if you're used to NASCAR. And it makes for some very interesting opportunities to pass and make a mistake. So that's a good track. That's a good addition to the dirt stuff.
Yeah, no, that looked cool, and that was the trailer for Volusia was by far the longest video we've seen so far. of dirt and iRacing going, so that was cool. Billy, what else did we learn about iRacing and dirt last week?
They did, and it was kind of funny. There was a couple conflicting things, but finally, what was it? I want to say it was Thursday or Friday, one of those days. They came out and said that dirt would be released in some form by the 29th. And I, real quick, I thank you very much for all the compliments on the intro for the season 1 or the season 2 video I did.
I almost grabbed it just to show it again because it really is a masterclass. That was so good.
Thank you. I was a little worried putting it out there. You're kind of like, I don't know, people are gonna get all weird about it. But thank you very much. It's nice to know that all that time and effort wasn't wasted, because that took me about 3 days to do.
Yes, exactly. That's what I saw. I was like, oh man, he spent some time doing this.
Yeah, trying to figure out how I wanted to do it. But in that, I was poking a little fun at myself, and then kind of everybody getting all spun out about dirt not being released for season 2 at the beginning. But yeah, the end of the month, hopefully, at least most of the stuff that we've been testing, if not all, will be out on the 29th. So that is something we'll cross. I'm going to cross my fingers.
There you go. So yeah, hopefully that deadline happens. And then also in related iRacing news, obviously the new build was released today. Let me go ahead and pull that up here. Some of the release notes. And even though it didn't have dirt, there was still a fair number of interesting things that essentially I think Billy and I hit on between our two first look videos. On a new track front, you have the bull ring, the short track at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and then the new, I don't know if they're calling it tire model, but tire update to a fair number of the cars. Here's some new animations, the hand-over-hand animations, which I forgot to mention that in my video, because when you're in VR, having that new hand-over-hand animation really does make a difference. It is much nicer. Yeah. Selectable pace cars, that's kind of neat. Let's see, spotters. Now on IndyCar side, you can pick from 2 different spotters, including former IndyCar driver Darren Manning. One of these days I'm going to get over to his facility he has in Indianapolis. He has a sim training facility for young, up-and-coming IndyCar drivers, hopefuls. And then virtual reality, that was a big one that the video I had today showed, where that went and it now when you're in VR and it outputs, it technically mirrors onto your monitor. Now it shows it in your standard resolution. Which to do that, it's essentially cropping, so the picture doesn't look as nice as what I'm seeing, even though it's VR, so the picture's still kind of eh. And then the car updates, like I mentioned earlier, Billy kind of went through in his video some of the changes to the tires that essentially it was bringing it in line with the tires that are on the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car, which I think is a real sweetheart. So very excited by that.
We had to do a little bit of, I help along with some other testers help with that. And there was a few changes that had to be made, but the basis for that change was how that Porsche felt. And somebody had mentioned that the tire, we've done just incredibly extensive work with the dirt tire model. And I would not be surprised if that has helped as well. I cannot believe the amount of tire stuff that we have had to go through with the dirt cars. So, and then, we did the testing with the cars that are out with it now. And I think in my opinion, it's a big step in the right direction. There'll be some feedback. They'll probably tweak it because people will find things that necessarily maybe we weren't looking for or anticipating, but for the most part, I think it's a really, really good building block. For me, the car feels much more natural as far as the GT stuff goes. So I actually enjoyed driving it. driving the cars, which was, I always kind of felt like it was so very abrupt with some of the reactions that the car would have. So,
yeah, no, it feels like a step.
That's nice.
It feels like a step in the right direction. For some of you who aren't on iRacing as much, I've heard a lot of comments saying it feels a lot more towards a sort of Corsa tire model, which I agree is going that direction of being a lot more forgiving, but not unrealistic, but like forgiving where it makes sense. Because
I mean, those cars. There's a gradient, and some cars are more extreme than the other. The higher downforce cars are going to have a very fine line where it snaps loose.
Yes,
but the GT cars and those kind of cars, they're going to have a gradient to the slide, and you should be able to feel that. And I think that's what they've accomplished for the most part.
Yeah. Okay, before we transition from iRacing and semi-related news, the Sebring 12 Hour is going on this weekend, and if you're on an ISR TV team, let's talk. I've done a terrible job of keeping up with this. Like, oh god, there's a race, and I haven't sent out any emails, and I haven't even fully decided if I'm doing it because it's just snuck up on me. So yeah, we should talk and figure that out, guys.
There you
go. Okay, next up, let's transition to a couple news items in RaceRoom. First off, earlier this week now, I believe, another Swedish track in RaceRoom was teased. Anderstorp Raceway, a Scandinavian raceway in South Sweden. It has part of the schedule. It has various touring cars and motorcycling championships, but it also hosted 6 F1 Grand Prix in the 70s. And the track involvement in F1 sadly came to a tragic end with the death of Gunnar Nilsson during the 1978 Grand Prix. So there's some news. This is the first time I'm reading this. Anyway, it is 4.03 kilometers, 2.5 miles in length. And essentially another kind of unique track coming to RaceRoom, since Sweden hasn't exactly been picked over when it comes to sim racing tracks, and so it's kind of it's as always we notice it's neat to see something different. So this will be coming to RaceRoom at some point, and you may be seeing this in video form at some point soon.
Yes.
That's called a tease.
Yes.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah.
I thought about putting it out today, but it's like I can't put out like 3 videos in one day.
Right.
But anyway, so there was that preview, and then today, if I can find where are we at, there was an update today with one of these Swedish tracks being released.
I want to hear you pronounce this.
Karlskoga? Maybe? Close?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, Karlskoga...
Motorbana, Motorstadion. I mean, it's got like 70 different names.
Yes, exactly. So, yes, this was released today on RaceRoom. This is a very tight track. I believe they said it's the oldest track in Sweden. It's only 2.5 kilometers, 1.6 miles long, so it is set up more for the cars that you're seeing here on screen, the touring cars, and that is available. And then there was also an update today that let me grab the notes here, kill that. Focus mostly on some aspect ratio, resolution stuff, put a minimum refresh rate, fix that DirectX resolution related crash. Okay. It was kind of minor updates today. Last week was the big build. This is like the after build patch stuff. But the big news is that new track. Billy, have you had a chance to drive that one?
No, that is the next on my to-do list, is that one, and then there's one more.
Okay, so there you go. Be on the lookout for that track on this channel in the future. So it looks neat.
Sure.
I like that it's it's a really small road course. That makes it kind of fun.
Yeah. Quick laps.
That's right. So now transitioning away from RaceRoom, and there were a couple interesting kind of sim racing related announcements out of the Geneva Auto Show that is currently going on. Geneva's the auto show where all the exotic cars get announced essentially these days. And first up, the first car unveiled with a sim racing type connection, the Fittipaldi EF7. Billy, what do we know about this brand new car company?
Besides what they tell us,
They didn't tell us a whole lot. That's why I kind of
right? It has a naturally aspirated V8 positioned at the rear of the car. I'm just going to read the release. The naturally aspirated V8 engine positioned at the rear of the car will not only provide enough power to go dangerously fast on track, but will also be controllable by drivers of all skill levels. Oh, I don't know what dangerously fast means then. This can be achieved through the low center of gravity and the nifty suspension and braking system. Thank you for being granular. Mentioned before, providing exceptional yet forgiving handling and performance. That told me nothing except how many cylinders and what orientation it is in.
Yes, precisely. But don't worry about details. Just look at the video currently playing and see that it's a pretty car, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like the other super cars kind of thing.
You know what it reminds me of? Maybe it's because they're showing a yellow and black one. It reminds me of the oh crap! What's the American who the cars in Assetto Corsa? That was kind of like
cars in Assetto Corsa.
Yeah. It was a little company. It's like Scuderia or something.
I don't remember.
Glickenhausen. It reminds me of their car actually.
Yeah, what you said.
Kind of the proportions are. So yeah, I don't think it's too bad of a looking car. But anyway, yes, that is coming to Gran Turismo Sport. And as the running joke is, anytime we post a Gran Turismo Sport related video or story up on our Facebook or Twitter, I'll enjoy it in 2020.
Right.
So
well, and wait, you can't forget the before we skip ahead to the other piece you've got down here. Don't forget the latest update today, which is going to totally change the landscape of Gran Turismo Sport.
Watch.
They have a partner. Yeah, a watch.
Yeah. Yeah, we that was running across to me about blogging, and I'm like, no, let's not blog that one because this is all footage we've already seen, and at the very end, it's like tag horror. Oh boy. So.
Yeah, I don't understand why not. I mean, I get it from a marketing aspects on Tag's part, but I just don't understand. They're just beating this thing into the ground without giving any information.
Yeah, it is something. But anyway, let's move on to our last story before we get to that giveaway. By the way, shout out to the 3 newish bloggers we got on the website. Dean, Seth, Paul, killing it. We've had a lot of great stories out there, and even teaching me how to do some stuff in WordPress I didn't know how to do previously because you just kind of get stuck in your way. So shout out to them. They're doing a great job. So yes, the other story out of Geneva is that the new McLaren 720S was revealed yesterday, which this is replacing the 650S as kind of their not entry car, their mid-level car. What do they call it? Their Super Series cars.
There you go.
And so the car was unveiled yesterday, finally after a bunch of leaks. And then, about the same time, Slightly Mad Studios and Project Cars 2 came out with these screenshots saying, hey, this car is also coming to Project Cars 2. And I think if I read correctly somewhere, they have like an exclusive license to this car, like maybe at least through 2017 or something. But anyway, they said that a couple quotes here, they said, after months of close collaboration between specialists at McLaren Automotive working side by side with specialists at Slightly Mad Studios, the McLaren new 720S, 710 horsepower. That's a lot of horsepower. Supercar comes to Project Cars 2 in all its authentically crafted beauty and tarmac-eating performance. I don't know this word. Intricately. That's what he said. Okay, recreated and simulated to the very last bolt. Oh boy, I should be able to read that word. Anyway, so yeah. That's pretty neat. What are you reading?
It's all, yeah. I mean, I'm not huge into street cars, but I know there's a lot of people that like it, so cool.
You know, after seeing that car, which it is a very pretty car, and I do like, I've liked McLaren road cars. After seeing that this got unveiled, it was kind of like, okay, any other sim out there who is looking to go and get a license for the 650? It's 650, right? Or is it 6? I think that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong. If they're looking to get a license for that car, don't. Because soon enough, there'll be a GT3 variant of the 720, and I want to drive that car.
That's what I was really surprised at, is the 650 feels like we hardly have anything out there with the 650, and they're already moving on.
Assetto Corsa has a 650, and it is coming to RaceRoom. So, yeah, it didn't quite get out there. Not unlike the previous car, the MP4 12C-30, which showed up in every sim.
Yeah, everybody and their brother had that one.
Yes. Also coming in Gran Turismo Sport. Oh, man, I had such a good segue there, and Billy decided to have a cough fit.
Oh, my goodness. Well, then you made it worse.
So, with that closes out the news for the week. All 10 stories, we did it. And let's go ahead and get to announcing the winner of the Thrustmaster TS PC Racer and T3PA pedals. Refresher here, because I forgot to do this before the show. This is what everyone was playing for: the Thrustmaster TS PC Racer and T3PA Pro pedals. I didn't have that in my notes. Pro pedals. So, Billy, can I have a drum roll?
Sure. Oh, should I do it like the one that they do in Christmas Vacation, where they're all out front and Chevy Chase goes to plug in the lights and they're all kind of thing? Da, 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 da.
Sure. Whatever floats your
boat.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be here all week.
Drum roll.
Bang, bang, bang.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The winner of the Thrustmaster TS PC Racer and Thrustmaster T3PA Pro pedals is Mark Dunn from Australia. Congratulations, Mark. If I was really good,
fireworks.
I know, if I was really good, I was going to have a splash screen with your name and fireworks, but I got busy before the beginning of the show. So, congratulations, Mark Dunn, the winner from Australia. So, congratulations. Maybe Mark's here in chat, maybe not. I'm waiting for chat to scroll, because there were a handful of you guys who really thought you were going to win this.
Oops.
I'm just letting awkward silence. So,
nice.
So yes, nice job, Mark. You're going home with a really nice package there, and I think we will be getting in contact with you. I'm waiting for Darren to come here and chat. But I think we'll be getting in contact with you and getting that set up for Thrustmaster to send that out to you.
Yep. So, congratulations, Mark. Have fun with that.
Yes. Golf claps all around.
Yep.
Okay, so moving on, and let's go to happenings. And first up, WRC 6 PlaySeat and Thrustmaster giveaway. Like I said, that was a video we did earlier. Let me go and pull up that doodad. So another giveaway going on. So if you didn't see this, head to the website, check out the news section, and you can go and click that link right there and enter to win the PlaySeat WRC edition and a Thrustmaster, I remember off the top of my head, and a Thrustmaster T150 Pro set, which gets you the T3PA pedals, or Thrustmaster TMX Pro set with the T3PA pedals, and a copy of WRC 6 either on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, whichever one you let them know you want. And then there's going to be some other copies of WRC 6 given out, so maybe you can win that as well. So that was our paid promo for the week.
Right. And just like Darren said, yeah, thanks for entering, and give this one a shot too.
Yes. Yep. Might as well answer. Oh, but I will say I forgot to mention that WRC one is for U.S. residents only. Even though there was a caveat there in the fine print that you can apply if you're in Canada, but it sounds like you have to then. There's some fees getting it to you if you're in Canada. So just wanted to note that. That was kind of an oddity, and I didn't get a chance to read all the fine print before doing that video, so that's why I was like, check out the link. So yeah, so that's another giveaway, and then Billy, we have a video coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, took the M6, which is not out yet, GT3 in RaceRoom around Anderstorp. I don't know. I want to say it's Anderstorp, but yeah, that's a track that the first experience I had was with GT Legends when I tried it last year. And it's a cool track. It's a little difficult with the GT3 cars. They said, kind of give it a shot on that one. It's hard to make a pass, especially with the AI the way they are right now.
The AI is still pretty aggressive.
They're too aggressive, in my opinion. They're too bold. I liked it one version before this. I thought was really, really good. And then, what was it, 2 updates ago or whatever it was, they made another update to the AI, and I don't particularly care for this one. I wish they go back to the other one that they had. Yeah,
because the more aggressive AI is what I drove when I did the look at the FRUS, the IndyCar and RaceRoom, and yeah, they were pretty. They're pretty aggressive.
The same one that I did with that 3.0 or whatever it was.
Yeah, no, it took me a handful of attempts to get a clean race in. So yeah, hopefully that gets toned down before that M6 gets released, which we don't know when it's going to release. But anyway, we'll have that video coming out tomorrow, so you guys can check that out. As always, thanks to Sector 3 Studios for hooking us up and letting us show content prior to release. And speaking of someone else who does a nice job letting us show content prior to release, iRacing. This week on Beyond the Gloves, which if you missed last week's episode, we talked about AI and aggression and good stuff like that, so go check that out. That's on isrtv.com or just on our YouTube channel. But this week on Beyond the Gloves, we have iRacing President Tony Gardner coming on. So that is very cool. We had Tony on this show about this time a year ago and had a really nice chat with him. And he went to the firing squad of getting all the questions from you guys. I'll say this time, if you want to throw out a question that you want us to ask him, you can. But we're definitely going to be paring that list down a lot. We're not going to be asking him everything.
We've got a lot of questions. We've got a lot of questions ourselves. So this will be my first time to have a chat with him. So there's some things I am very interested in learning.
Yep. So we'll be most likely chatting with him tomorrow, and then hopefully the Beyond the Gloves. The last couple of weeks, we've had issues getting the show out on Sunday, and a lot of it comes down to I have it right here. My adapter that I use for SD cards went to crap. Where essentially I plug it in and then it disconnect, and then I would magically leave it in overnight and come back to it Saturday morning, and then I'd be able to go and copy the files off it onto my PC, then upload it to Billy. So I have a new one now, which, by the way, you can't buy this at any stores. I went to a bunch of places here locally, couldn't find it. Had to wait for Amazon to ship it to me on last Sunday. So, but anyway, as I found out yesterday doing that iRacing video, this works, and this thing's broken. I'm going to throw it away. So hopefully with that all going correctly, we can have the show out. Really trying to shoot for a Sunday morning here in the U.S. because that's when a lot of you people are online and have time to watch videos. Unlike at the last video went out at 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. Monday morning or something ridiculous. So that doesn't help.
Yeah.
But no, that'd be really cool to talk with Tony. Really looking forward to that. Obviously, plenty of things to talk about with dirt and everything else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of topics.
All the normal questions may or may not be answered.
Yes, exactly. So, and as always, we'll see if we can get Tony to spill the beans on some stuff, because he has earned his loose lips moniker over the years.
That's funny.
Yes. Well, this is a good Kanducci. Please ask Mr. Gardner if the new UI really exists. That will be on there. Okay, moving on. No poll question this week because I didn't feel like making one. Show's long enough. But we had a poll question back from a couple weeks ago, the February 22nd edition of the show, that I want to go back and touch on. And here are the results. The question was, which Sim's future direction has you most excited? This was the week where we had a whole bunch of future updates. And Project Cars 2, with the overwhelming lead there in your interest at 51%. 18% of you interested in
Makes
R-Factor.
sense.
It does make sense, yeah. There's a lot of stuff there. 18% interested in R-Factor 2 and things going on with them getting VR support. And at that point, they hadn't released NOLA yet. And RaceRoom at 18%, that we talked about a whole lot of stuff happening there. And then Automobilista at 11%, which Automobilista had a big update last week. By the way, Billy, you got me. I didn't have time to go do this, but watching your test drives of both Automobilista at Adelaide and then R Factor 2 at NOLA made me want to go drive both those tracks. Like, those both look like a lot of fun.
Those are great tracks. Like, I've always kind of liked Adelaide, but I've never had it in that fashion before, so that's a really fun track to drive. And then NOLA, I was pleasantly surprised with. I really, really like the way that track flows.
Yeah, I
couldn't hit
remember,
turn one to save my life, but
yeah, turn one's tough there. It's
I can't. I just have a hard time judging it.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of one of my favorite temporary tracks ever, and that was Cleveland Burke Lakefront Airport, where IndyCar and kart used to go race. Turn one was always I used to live up in Cleveland, and we went to like probably about 3 years in a row there in late '90s, early 2000s, and sit down in turn one and watch them all funnel in and try to make that right-hander. But no, I remember when the IndyCar Series went to NOLA back in 2015 for their one race there that was a little bit of a mess. But then I thought I looked at the track layout and I was like, this is a really cool layout. Like, there's passing opportunities, there's some higher speed sections. I mean, it's flat because it's
that's the thing
underwater,
that was really cool.
But
not a boatload of turns, which makes it good.
yeah, no, I like that as well. See, that's also like Cleveland. If you guys saw that video where I went and I looked at that fictional Dutch track and I went and took out all the corners. I'm pretty much just always trying to create Cleveland and Road America. That's what I've come down, I realized. So,
yeah.
which two great tracks here in North America. Okay, so with that, I believe we are at Q&A. So go ahead and put your questions in chat, and hopefully Billy will be grabbing those as I try to steer the ship.
Yep, already grabbed. Yeah. Well, all of a sudden you did a freeze frame on me, and I'm like, oh no, did it drop? But I checked my phone, and it seems to be okay. So
it's been every once in a while, and you guys at home can see it because you can kind of catch it on Billy's screen here. It pops up with like a bad connection type thing, and then it's like your face and your voice get more and more off, and then it like clicks back, and then it's okay, and then it gets worse again, and clicks back. So
traveling through time.
We are. That's right. It's like Quantum Leap. There's a blast from the past.
Right? Yeah. Boy. Oof. Haven't thought about that in a while.
I remember
Yeah, somebody was calling me old man references for my Christmas Vacation reference. Have you not seen Christmas Vacation? Is that why you gave me a blank stare?
No, I've seen it, but I've only seen it once. It's not like my go-to.
That is a yearly tradition.
I know, it's never. My go-to is A Christmas Story, and then I like the like the cartoons.
Yep.
But anyway, it's not Christmas time.
Yeah.
So, first question. Smoke beer. Okay, smoke beer. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, try to do that in your leisure time.
That's all right. Can Billy explain the best diff setups for off-road racing, e.g., dirt rally? He said in an older video once about a strong setting. I always went weaker. Don't. Billy, can you give some setup? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be a bit reductive about it. Just think of when you have a strong diff setting, and then you have, well, the hard part is you have acceleration and deceleration, and then if you're driving a four-wheel drive car, there's the difference between the two, the front and the back, and then if you've got a high downforce car, that also changes. Like, how do I explain this? We'll go with a rear-wheel drive car. On dirt, you're going to steer with the back end more, so you actually want the back end to be locked quicker, so that you can work it around the corner with the throttle. The exception to that rule is if you're using a high downforce car on a high speed track, you may not need as much diff lock as soon. So you have to, there's a balance there. And if you have four-wheel drive cars, then it becomes a balance of the weight distribution, where the surface that you're running on, it's a little more complicated than just a simple 2-minute explanation. Four-wheel drive car, because you're also dealing with toe in and toe out, is also kind of goes hand in hand with that, especially on dirt. And then it comes down to driving preference. I know when... I'll just leave it there. It's too long to get into. Hopefully that makes sense. More locking. If it locks sooner, you're going to spin the tire quicker. If you have it where it takes a really long time for it to lock, it's going to have a tendency to make the car push going through the turn, because you're not getting the tires to spin, and you can control it with the back end.
All things that Billy will be going into great detail when dirt is released.
Yeah, well, oval stuff is different.
Oh.
So that's even all that. Yeah, oval.
We're talking about rally stuff, right? When
Yeah,
Dirt 4 is released.
Yeah, Dirt Oval is another ball game completely.
Okay. This Dastu 22, Billy, out of the iRacing dirt tracks, which one is your favorite and why?
Out of the ones that Williams Grove. I've always thought that was... I apologize, I'm copying a question here, but I always liked that track. My grandparents actually traveled across the United States and brought me back a shirt from there. And then when I finally got to start seeing races on TV, that is just one of the most gnarly tracks you could ever run, period. Because of the speed you carry down the straightaway. And then for a half mile, it's kind of like out here at Karlskoga. The turns aren't as round as like an Eldora or a Knoxville or something like that. So it definitely takes some big... you probably got to carry your balls in a wheelbarrow to go around there fast.
South Park style.
I like that one. That is exactly what I was thinking.
Large attachments. Well,
right.
Should be. Conduci, if you could name one which previously unannounced road track would you like to see added on iRacing? I would make a strong case for Adelaide. I mean, I watch. Hope I'm saying that right. I watched the V8 Supercars races from there this past weekend, which Billy, if you haven't seen them, I have a link. Because they always put on such a great show. So I think that track is really awesome, and I would love to see that. Also, staying in Australia, I always love Melbourne Park, where F1 kicks off the season. I've always really,
that's a good one.
You know, again, it's something that's really flat and doesn't seem like anything special, but I've always really liked that track. So That, I know I'm answering more than one. And then one that always comes up, and when iRacing did their thing where there was like, what was it, the questionnaire? I love to see Burno added to iRacing.
I agree.
I love that
that's
track
such
as well.
a unique track, and
It's
it has
so
a good
cool.
flow to it.
Yes. What say you?
I like Bruno. I like that answer. Gosh, they got so many in there that I guess selfishly I would say I'd like to see. I've been on Button Willow, which is for a seemingly flat track. It actually has a lot of nice. It has a lot of nice flow to it. Good passing opportunities when I ran the kart there, and we're talking not the kart track, but the actual road racing track, and some nice high speed side. There's got this big old bank corner in it. It is just awesome, and everybody was like tiptoeing around through there, and I was like wide open going around the outside and all the dust. Yeah, people thought I was an idiot. So I like that one. And then Thunder Hill up here is good. It's got a nice mix of stuff. Really long straightaway. They hold a 25-hour race here.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
I'd like to see that one.
yeah. And then, by the way, I love to see all these tracks go to like a bunch of sims, not just iRacing. Like I said,
Yeah.
Automobilista did a really cool job, a really great job going and grabbing Adelaide. RF Night Stalker said most sport is out of control. He's saying he'd like to see that come to Project Cars 2, which who knows, maybe it will. Project Cars 2 has supposedly a lot of tracks, so I could see Mosport or Mosport for different ways of pronouncing it. Could see that coming, but do not know anything at this point. Let's see. Spatial Dragon. American Truck Simulator and European Truck Simulator 2 got locking diffs, liftable trailer axle, dashboard monitor for weight stations, some other updates. Yeah, I know. We need to get a blog.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
Did that just come out?
Yeah, I don't know when that did come out. You have to.
I saw the beta. I saw the beta deal, but I didn't see an official regular update.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. I try to keep an eye on what those guys over there at SCS are doing. Yeah, that's something, again, like a lot of things, would love to jump back in there at some point, but we're too busy with all this content. I mean, it's crazy how many videos we've released here recently of just like brand new content on the software side. I got hardware stuff stacking up, so a lot of stuff right now. You want to take the next one, Billy? Orange Jector.
Oh, Jector, Hector, Jector, 2 R's. Single ultra wide or triple 16:9 monitors. He has enough space. Okay, John.
It's a tough one. I think triple still. The single ultra wide is nice. That's what Billy's running. So you can tell you about that. But yeah, I do like the triples do give you that little extra where you can go and kind of catch your side mirrors and not have to zoom back your field of view further than what you care for. So I think that's what I would say. Even though I feel like you might be able to, for decent quality 16:9s, you might end up spending more than just one single ultra wide these days.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I really like the 16:9, or the
21.
Or I mean 21:9. I'm looking at 16:9. The 21:9, just because I get the extra where I can look into the corner, even though I kind of had to get myself used to the habit of doing it. If I was racing competitively on iRacing or R Factor 2 or something like a lot, triples makes a little more sense because you can have that little more awareness. You can look to the left and the right. But for what I do, I don't really need the triples. I can see going into the turn. If I was having a 16:9 and that was the only, that I could have, then yeah, I'd want triples. But with the 21:9, I don't feel like I'm really losing anything.
It's funny. I've seen a bunch of images from a bunch of different different titles on Twitter I want to say past week, showing real world drivers preparing in simulators, and like I think 2 of them were from iRacing. One was I can't remember his first name now, but Okan, Formula One driver, now driving for Force India this season. It showed him. He posted something about him like training, and he was driving the old Williams in iRacing at Spa as part of his training, which was fascinating. Not driving the McLaren. Maybe they feel like maybe it feels like the old Williams car is a little more closer to the speed feeling wise that the new cars are this year. But he had that
would
on
be interesting.
Yeah, he had that on just like a single 24-inch monitor, and then there was a picture that iRacing also tweeted out of NASCAR driver Michael Annett, who posted a picture of him in his simulator. Again, only just one single monitor, and there was a couple other ones I feel like from other titles that were just real drivers racing with just smaller single monitors. And I was kind of like, oh man, you guys need to step it up. You have the funds. Whether you're being paid from the team or from your personal sponsor or from your government, whoever. Oh, I'm sorry. Maldonado's not in Formula One anymore, so less of that money. That oil
there you
money.
Go. There you go.
Leo Hervernen itching to get a new wheel soon, so would it be better of the Fanatec kit with the current pricing? I don't mind paying a bit more if it gets me noticeable better quality. Yeah, I mean the Fanatec
he had a part 1 to this, but it was just he was talking about the pricing of the Thrustmaster stuff, so kind of compare it with that.
Yeah, I mean really. Go watch the video of the comparison. I mean, that really is. I put out everything I had in that video in terms of comparing at least those 3 wheels. And if you're looking between the CSL and the TSPC Racer, that's a hard one. It really was close on. I mean, they do kind of equal out to about the same. I wish if Fanatec had that. That Formula rim is really sweet. If it was just a little bit larger diameter and had a little bit larger grips, maybe like wrapped it in something, maybe that would push it over the top. It's a really sweet rim, but and Billy, you can probably attest to this. That Thrustmaster TSPC Formula rim, it has a nice feeling in your hands.
Yeah.
I like the 28 centimeter diameter, and then I like that it's beefier grips. So that's where that was a strong suit of that rim, which kind of helped again to kind of keep those wheels pretty even. Yeah,
that that TSPC Racer rim that it comes with is really, really nice. Like I actually found myself when I was testing with the sprint car not swapping back to my 599 rim just to see what it's like, and it works really well. And that as somebody pointed out in one of the videos, the more girth to the hand grip area is really nice.
I had that experience yesterday doing that iRacing video. I left it on when I went and drove the Ford Fusion Sprint Cup car at Las Vegas, and because I was in VR, it wasn't really an issue. And also in VR, it felt like that diameter wheel matched up really well with the virtual arms. And then so I was driving, and I'm kind of like, in the past, anytime I've driven with a Formula rim around an oval, and like an oval car, not an
twitchy.
Car, it feels weird. Yeah, it feels really weird. Yeah. But this one felt my actual hands felt to be about the same spacing as the virtual hands, and then with those larger grips, it felt natural. It felt fine. It didn't bother me. So that is one of the pros of VR. Some of those things that you might be a little more nitpicky on kind of go out the window because it comes down to feel.
Makes sense.
What's up next?
Steve Baxter asks, when am I going to do a spotter pack?
Yeah, Bill, get on that.
I don't know how to do it. So if somebody wants to just point me to a how-to or something, I will do it.
There you go. I think you gotta have a spotter pack in iRacing for the amount of testing you've been doing helping those guys out. need a factory one.
There you go.
Once dirt's out.
Well, then they just I think they released 2
For the Indy cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that was fascinating. Okay, so did you ever have a spotter when you were doing real world dirt racing?
Dirt, you typically do not have a spotter. I mean, they might in the late model stuff when they're doing a longer race, but no. The sprint car is so everything happens so fast. I don't know how on earth you would be able to do a spotter. And then it's so freaking loud. It's so loud. Like we have the in-ears with the little radio that they tell us when a yellow or red, and we've got to like blast it just so we can hear.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of tangent here, but speaking of sound levels, something came out this week that like NASCAR is thinking about reducing the sound level of the cars to make it so it's not so deafening at the track. I'm
surprised they're just now thinking about that.
It's exactly. It was met with a lot of pushback. People were like, that is so dumb. If you've been to, like, I saw them. When was the last time I saw them? I saw them at Indianapolis in 2015.
It's incredibly loud.
They make, if without, your ears would bleed. Like, they are so loud and it's such a low resonance.
I ran with open headers once when I went and raced out at Vegas with the sprint car, and you cannot believe it's louder than the stock cars. It is so loud. And out here in Cali, we have to run these huge mufflers on the sprint car. I mean, they're just huge.
Yeah.
Because we get dinged with noise like that. And they've started slowly throughout the country making sure that there's at least some sort of muffler on the headers. There's very few places. I think in PA you can still run open, and maybe in Ohio, but it's getting less and less. It's just, God, it's loud.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with it. It can still be loud, but it doesn't need to be giving you rattling your brain around like it does. And also, and they said that part of it is so you can have a conversation. Like, yeah, it's like you're like hand signals when you're there at a race. I went to Bristol in 2012. And they ran like 200 straight laps, no caution, after they did the whole progressive banking crap. And oh my God, it was like, and they just keep on going, and your brain just kind of turns to mush. So
yep, I went to Martinsville, and it was like it's down in a bowl, which you don't think it is, but it is. And I was just like, oh my God, just the constant drone of the cars was like nuts.
Yeah,
I'm all for loud stuff, but.
No, I agree. Because like I've seen the current IndyCar formula, and you can like have a conversation. Like they're not loud enough. They need to be louder. The new Formula One cars need to be louder.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point it can come down a little bit, and it's okay, and you're not ruining it. Okay, tangent end.
There you go.
Let's see. Okay, Deadpool. To Billy and John, will you guys ever go to Twitch and stream races? I mean, I say from an inside sim racing perspective, I'll never say never to Twitch. I've thought about it, just haven't really put the effort into, it would almost be like dual streaming this show over there. I don't know about live streaming racing and stuff. We're not like a Let's Play channel. We do the test drives, but we try to have them be a little more focused with new content. Or I don't know. What do you think, Billy? You want us to be on Twitch?
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind doing it like every once in a while. If we had like a specific thing that we were doing, maybe if we were doing a preview, or if there was like a specific specific car and track combo that just came out that we felt him and I needed to talk about, or even Darren, and so that would be kind of cool. That way we could interact right then and there with people like we kind of do here. To do it constantly or have a set schedule, which is what you have to do to make it successful, I don't know that that's a reality. But I'm not opposed to doing it every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, no, maybe something we will discuss more. No, I agree. It'd have to be something with a little more of a schedule. Yeah. Let's see. RF Night Stalker, Billy, will you put John or Billy in the dirt car? Have you, or Darren? I think you've. Have you snag a win in dirt? Any age?
I do not have my sprint car anymore. That had to be sold because I needed money, and quite honestly, it's so difficult to do. When my dad got real sick a couple years ago with cancer, which he's fought. Thank goodness he's fine now. But it really put a damper kind of on my spirit to go drive, because that's something we've always done together. And my brother was doing it with us as well, so I kind of just put it on the back burner, and then I finally just sold everything. I could go back and do it if I could get the money back together, but it's super expensive. It's super time consuming, because you can race every weekend. You could race 2 nights or sometimes 3 nights a week, so it's not easy to do. But if I had one, and I'd throw them in there just to see how much it'd scare them. Make sure I had a GoPro going. And then it's kind of one of those things. You sit in the stand, and you're like, I could do that. And then when I went, they used to have a school out at Marysville that did it by Jimmy Sills, and I made the decision that I wanted to do it, and I was relatively old per se when I started, and there was like several of us, and I'll never forget this guy. He's got his own fire suit. He's got everything, and he is like talking about how much he's done in motorcycles and all this stuff. And then he goes out, and they kind of take you around the track, and then all of a sudden they pull the quad off. Jimmy Sills pulls the quad off the track, and he tells him to wind it up, and he barely gets on the throttle twice, and does like 2 laps and pulls off the track. Doesn't take it out of gear, nothing. He just stops, gets out, and takes his helmets off, and he's shaking. I mean, he's just visibly like shaking, and he looked at us and he said, "You all are effing crazy. I'm out of here," and walked away. And there was a couple people that they got out and wouldn't get back in the car, and it was only a 360. It wasn't even a 410. And of course, I'm stupid, and I'm just like, I paid too much money for this. I can't back out now.
Exactly.
Which, it's fun. It's definitely hard to get the hang of if you're not used to it, though.
So that's what I thought of the 5 minutes I've done so far in iRacing. I'm like, in other forms of racing, you kind of creep your way up, and as you creep up, you get higher levels of both mechanical and aero grip, and there's a progression there. There's like, I don't know what the ladder is for that. It seems like you just gotta like jump in the one and go.
There are stepping stones. There's quarter midgets. There's micros.
Okay.
But you don't have to. You can just go ahead and jump in a sprint car if you want to. There's no FIA or anything telling you no. If you're a certain age, you can't go run with the World of Outlaws or some of these other places. They'll ask you, they'll ask to watch you run, what your experience is, and then they'll evaluate you. But really, that is the appeal and also the downside of dirt track racing.
I would imagine. Quick one here. Crazy Dan asked, John, did you live in North Carolina long enough to become a Duke fan? Not a Duke fan, but I lived there long. I'm indifferent on Duke, but I lived there long enough to become anti UNC. So mostly because all my friends were engineers from NC State, and UNC just seemed like the preppy place, even though that's the public school and Duke's the private school. It's a weird dynamic.
There you go. Oh, to finish off the other question that he had, snag a win. I did in quarter midgets. I ran a couple. It's not prevalent or often to have dirt races in quarter midgets, but I did snag a couple wins then. But then I didn't get to race anything for a really long time. So when I jumped in a sprint car, I was 27, turning 28. I got real close. Had probably a few seconds, led a bunch. I only got beat by a World of Outlaw driver one time. I led for like 21 of the 30 laps and did a wheelie coming out of turn 4. It was some big memorial race out at my home track, Placerville. And Tim Kading, we raced side by side for like 2 or 3 laps, and I got into lap traffic and made the wrong choice. I was so angry. I finished second. I was so mad. But yeah, had a bunch of top 5s, had some top qualifiers and stuff, but never did, at least to this date, never did snag a win. It's pretty hard out here in California. These guys are fast.
It's okay. Billy's gonna get on iRacing, and if he can keep people from wrecking him, he'll go rack up a bunch of wins.
Well, we'll see how that goes. I'm sure people will get it pretty quick.
That will be the fascinating thing. I think it's gonna be a lot of spinners. Let's see. let's see, Evan Lively, do you guys think there will be a lot of World of Outlaw drivers practicing / racing at iRacing when Dirt gets released? Billy, what are some of the stars you've seen testing Dirt?
So we've had Christopher Bell, which is not unknown. We've had Larson. We've had who else? Kevin Swindell. We saw Shane Stewart actually at Larson's place try it out. I think
Rico Abreu was in there for a little bit.
Yep, Rico Abreu. Yep.
Abreu.
Yeah, there's been a handful of guys, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to get a bunch more with, as long as everything rolls out like I think it will, we're going to get quite a bit more, because it's the closest thing I've ever tried, virtually.
Sweet. Okay, Stephen Pauly, do you know if Dirt Sprint cars for iRacing going to have a fixed and open setup? I do not know. I
don't know what they're doing there yet. We're still like looking for exploits and stuff like that, and reigning. I'm my biggest stickler is reigning in setups, so that we don't get that. So I don't know if it's going to be fixed or open. They have not stated.
Here's a question, and Darren just had a run. T-Bone, is it possible to create your own plugins for games in SimVibe? Example, there's one for X-Plane, but FSX, could I create my own, or is that up to SimExperience to program them? I think you can. Like I said, Darren's obviously the one to talk to, and he just ran off. So save a question for next week, and hopefully Darren will be able to be on the show. Silver Fire, Fire, not Fry, as I say it every week. I get the R and the Y. I'm like, oh, Silver Fry. If you were stranded on a desert island, what sim, single track, and single car class would you like to have to entertain those long days away, and why? Okay, let's see.
I don't know if I could pick one.
One track to rule them all. If I'm just hot lapping, I think Nordschleife would make sense for bang of your buck, the bang for your buck. What would I want to drive around there? You know, I used to do a lot of hot laps instead of Corsa with like the Ferrari LaFerrari around Nordschleife. Like that was just for kicks. I do that. So maybe it'd be that combo. If not that, probably something in iRacing. I don't know what. I need something faster than the Audi R8 that I drove yesterday, because that's just like that peaks out at like 165 if you take all the wing out of it, I think. So I need to go faster down the straights.
Being that they're coming out with Dirt, I guess I would just pick Dirt 410 Sprint car in Williams Grove. If it wasn't on the Dirt side, I really like Zandvoort. I really enjoy driving that track.
It's a fun track.
Nice flow, challenging. I really enjoy that one. And then single car. Oh crap! I don't know. I can't. There's no way I could pick. There's no way I don't. No, not gonna happen. There's no way I can pick one.
It's not an ideal situation. Both are constraints for picking a car and track and sim, and also being stuck on a deserted island.
Yeah.
None of this is ideal.
What did I do to you to deserve that?
Steve
I
Baxter.
gave you that intro. You shouldn't have asked me that question.
That's right. What a great intro. Gonna just roll that intro every week for the show. Steve Baxter. So will iRacing use? Oh, you know what? Let's roll that intro when we do the Tony Gardner interview.
Oh, jeez.
Beyond the Gloves. Let's roll with that. He's. I emailed him today. He said he enjoyed it. So.
Oh, great! So you watched it? That's funny.
Oh, yes, he's seen it. Steve Baxter. So will iRacing use the spotter for Dirt? Would be a constant call out? I don't know.
They are working on that. I don't want to get into specifics because I don't know what's happening with it yet. I can tell you we have tested it, and I'm not sure.
Okay, last couple questions here, unless something else pops up. James, we're gonna get out of this here in under an hour and a half. Huzzah!
All right.
James Hokwat? Hokwat?
Hokwat?
Hokwat. We're gonna go with that. Do you think?
Oh no, it says what? It's Hoke, and then what do you think? It put it together. That's funny.
That is funny. James Hoke. I like Hokwat. What do you think of the new NASCAR system? I don't know. I think the points are too complicated. I don't know about the stage things. I think the same thing. I think we had this question when they first announced it. The races are too long. Make the races instead of like 500 miles like this past Sunday, which when I dipped in because I had other things to do, it was entertaining to watch there at Atlanta. But take that from 500 miles, make it 300 miles, and I think NASCAR should do it where only the top 10 gets points, and that will get people from coming out of the garage with damaged cars. And I think give the winner 50 points, give second place 25 points, and go down to 1 point for 10th place, and let them go. That's where I'm at. Yeah, how about that? It's always a complaint about wins don't matter. Give the winner 50 points and second place 25, and make it so you can go and win a bunch of races, then DNF a bunch of races, and still have a shot at championship. So that's how I would do it. Shorter races.
I don't disagree with the shorter races thing. If you're going to split up segments like that, why not just do like a dirt track format where you have qualifying heat rates in the main event? I mean, I'm not quite sure what the... I mean, they're trying to provide excitement in the middle of the race, and I get that. And I don't dislike it, because it does... I've noticed it does make me pay attention more at those points, but it doesn't keep me invested in the rest of the race. So, yes. I don't know. I just think they should... The reason they used to have the races this long is it was an endurance test of sorts.
Yes.
But, I mean, the cars nowadays, I don't know if you really need to test the endurance of the car.
No, I mean, it's yes and no. I mean, to some degree, the 500-mile races do seem to claim more engines, and it's still somewhat a test of the drivers, almost like more of a mental side, because you mentally got to be sharp for 4 hours, which is insane.
Yeah.
But from a fan perspective, it's too long. And this is from someone who's watched NASCAR my whole life, and I've given away.
I think truck races are a nice length.
Truck races are a nice length, yeah. I don't think just because a long race doesn't indicate like skill level. Look at like F1 races done in an hour and a half, which that's skill level. There's some guys that are really good, some guys that are paid. But anyway, yeah, I think the distance is just too obnoxious. Okay, Carlos Fandango. Do you guys follow any YouTube channels, sim racing or others? Billy?
Now that I got to think of it off the top of my head. I like the guys over at Team VVV, even though they're a little more console focused. Alan still has a bunch of experience from the gaming industry that is pretty insightful, and then those guys give a nice different perspective, I think, to balance out probably what we do. So I like listening to that. I watch when I can catch him, Jimmy Broadbent. I catch who else? I really don't watch Twitch. It's mainly YouTube. And, gosh, I've got a whole list of them. Now I can't think of anybody.
Okay, for me, sim racing I don't watch too much because I feel like I'm living it. And sometimes I need a diversion. And also I don't want to get too influenced by other people. I do like to watch Gamer Muscle. James, he's hilarious.
Yes, Gamer Muscle. Sorry.
We gotta have him on Beyond the Glove sometimes. Let's see. And then... outside of that,
Fail Race. Sorry, that was another one I thought of. He's pretty funny.
And then outside of sim racing, a lot of tech stuff. I like watching Linus Tech Tips. I like watching Jay's 2 Cents. Both the production quality on both those guys are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then really got into watching Kinda Funny and watching / listening to all their different shows, podcasts, stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's primarily where I'm at. On Twitch, for a while there, I was watching The Attack, which is a spin-off of Attack of the Show. That was an old G4 show that I held near and dear. Darren loves the show, too. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the offshoot now over on Twitch, and I haven't been watching it nearly as much recently. But because I got to work during the day, doing stuff like this show.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get off on these last couple questions here. Slow Bloke. Will you be reviewing the Next Level Racing F1 GT Cockpit? Yes, we will be. When, I do not know. I have not heard anything from them about when that will be showing up. But I'm looking forward to that. I like what we saw, price and specs and all that. So
Yeah,
look,
it's a good. It seems like it's a good good deal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And then last one, how about you take it?
Crazy day and any fun races coming up with the new iRacing builds. Sorry, I missed the beginning of the show. So no problem missing the show. There's always the rewind button or go back. And then didn't you had talked about one or something, didn't you, John?
Last week when we had to cancel the show, we were planning on doing the show and then got caught up. Had to get a WR6 video out, WRC6, which was, by the way, WRC6 wasn't too shabby. I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised. It's what was I saying? I had to cancel the show, and I said when I posted that we were canceling it on social media that we try to first do the giveaway this week, which we already have, and then we would do a fun race afterwards at Sebring, preparing for the 12-hour. But between I'm really busy today, and then also with the new build earlier today, and now it sounds like iRacing's had some issues. I just it's kind of like it just seemed like trying to jam a lot into today with it being a build day and all that kind of stuff. So I scratched that, and hopefully we'll do some other fun races here soon. Want to get in some other titles. iRacing is the easiest to do, like rain races and iRacing, but would like to also really want to do RaceRoom here coming up sometime. So
yeah, we'd like to do different time slots, and it's more feasible when all this content of software and hardware isn't getting dumped on us at one time. Like 3 weeks ago, I my list got down to like 2 videos left that I had ideas to do for, and all of a sudden in the last like week and a half it went back up. So
yeah, someone asked earlier if I had driven with the Fanatec V3 inverted pedals. I need to get working on that review. I have. I drove it in a WRC6 video with the CPX adapter. I was able to run a Thrustmaster wheel and Fanatec pedals on the PlayStation 4. And that review is coming too. There was a new firmware update that came out today for that, so I've been kind of waiting for that new update before reviewing it. But anyway, yes, I did drive with them, and they feel nice. I'm trying to debate how in depth I'm going to get, because already kind of know what the V3 package is, and what we also know with the V3 package, you can try a bunch of different combos, and to try a bunch of different combos, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work pulling those things constantly off and on your rig. So I'm trying to decide how in depth I'm going to get on, because I got another brake kit. Like I could go and put a brake kit in there. I could go and pull off the whatchamacallit, the damper kit, which I think, at this point now the damper kit's off my regular V3, so we'll see. But from everything I've kind of played with so far, they seem nice.
Sounds good.
I think we did.
I've been quietly eyeing those pedals, so maybe.
Yes, so clearly I gotta get to that for not only your purchasing decisions but other people's. So I think that will do it for this week Inside Sim Racing. Hour and a half, nice. March 8th, 2017 edition. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for chatting with us in chat. Good job, chat. And I want to leave with I want to leave on this note from chat. Thongmaster. I hope Project Cars 2 features a PT Cruiser. I think we can all agree with that statement.
Yeah, I hope that PT Cruiser catches on fire. What? No.
It'd be so funny if they put like a PT Cruiser burning at like the side of the road at Long Beach.
Oh, no.
As you go flying by in your McLaren 720.
Yep. You're like, what's that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wasn't that one of the cars in like GT or something? One of the GTs that was like one of the beginning cars you could pick.
Yeah.
It was that game, or it was one other one, and I just was like, no.
Oh, by the way, as we continue to try to wrap up, Kevin Brooks said no donate button. I tried to put the donate on this video. I think it's automatically in there now. It wouldn't let me do that. It wasn't an option as one of the cards. So We appreciate a donation, but you have to figure out how to do that. Because like I said, it wasn't there. Maybe next week. Yeah, or maybe just YouTube's breaking. It does that. So, anyway, again, thank you for watching this week Inside Sim Racing, March 8th, 2017 edition. For Billy Strange, I'm John Sable. See you guys next week.
See ya.